So today we're going to be going over 3 useful tips that everyone should know for using touchchat. So the first one we're going to be doing is how to find a word. This is extremely helpful if you're trying to find a word and don't know where it lives, particularly when we're getting to know touchchat, but it's not in a very intuitive spot. So we're going to go up to ABC123, click on it, and then down here next to this home page is Find Word. When we click on that, this little bar comes up, and today I'll just be using the word bird. So when I am done typing, I can hit done, but I'm still going to have to go up here and click Find Word. And so what this does is it'll pop up all the different places where you might be finding bird. So this is helpful if you're trying to find a word for the first time or maybe 5th time if you're me, but it also is helpful if you're trying to re-edit any sort of buttons or change wording. It should pop up everywhere that word appears, or even, as you can see in this brown bear, somewhere where it might be similar. So I can either just look at the path and remember it, or if I want a little help, I can click on which path I want. And then touchchat will actually kind of give me a step-by-step of how to get there. So it's grayed everything else out, and it's highlighted groups. So I'll hit groups. Then it's highlighted pets. And now I can say bird. So Find Word is really useful and hopefully makes learning where everything is a little bit easier. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is talk about how to change your volume without having to undo guided access. I know when I first started learning touchchat, I had to unlock and relock, and it took me over a year to learn this one. So hopefully it's helpful. And again, it's not in a very intuitive spot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to groups, and then you have 2 different places it lives, in this phonetic alphabet one over here, or in a tips for word power. I typically use the tips for word power one. I'll show you why in a second, but it's this button doesn't make it look like there's a volume in there, and if you need to rename it, that's very understandable. So when I click into the tips for word power, I have
volume up, volume down.
And I can also turn my speakers completely on and off,
Speak tone,
which is really helpful in those important cases. There's some other stuff that this can do, like telling you how much battery it is, but that's usually the most helpful. So now I'll go home and I'll show you the phonetic one, just so you know. So you're going to go into groups, this phonetic alphabet, and the only options you have are volume up and volume down. And then this phonetic alphabet is slightly different. And so I typically just don't use this one as much, but if that's what works for you, that's great. All right, and so now to the third and final tip. It's about locking pages. So to do a demo of this, I'm gonna go into this button that says extra words. I feel like this gives some real disservice because when we click on it, a lot of our position words are here, and those are really helpful and important for kids to know. There's also things like away and on top and bottom and all those different things, and behind. So right now, if I don't use my locking button and I'm working with a kid and I want to say the block goes on
top,
I end up back at the home screen, and that's okay. However, if I'm modeling and I want the child to learn the word with me, it's not the best to have to continually flip between the 2 pages. So if I go to extra words again, you can see that there's this green button right here. It says lock page. And so what this does is it means that we are on this page and we're not going to flip in between the 2 pages. So I can click
bottom,
and it doesn't go anywhere. The nice thing about this page too is I don't have to remember to lock it or unlock it. I can just hit home and it'll bring me back. It's good to know that this also is in other areas like our descriptor page. We also have lock. So I have a student who really likes fast and slow. And so when we're doing stuff with fast and slow, we always hit the lock page just to make it a little easier on ourselves. And that's 3 tips, and hopefully that's helpful and gives you some more stuff to play with.